Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.
This council is very different. We function in ultimately the same ways. Mm-hmm. I think we benefit from being open communicators. And this council that I've been elected to is very open about its communication. They want to talk about everything. They want to talk. Sometimes I get a little weary. I'm thinking, we're talking this thing to death. Let's just go into council and debate this and vote and see what happens. But it's a very good council. We like each other, respect each other, have fun together. And in that regard, that's a new experience for me.
This episode of Bring Back the Porch brought to you by Bernie Leahy, River Street Realty. Let's get you home. Well, if you were watching the last City Council meeting in the month of May, you saw my guest do something that I had not seen at a City Council meeting in some time. Councillor Bill Cocks took administration to task for foot dragging on a request that you had made back in October, I think. November, to find out why license fees for liquor stores in Medicine went up by, I forget how much it was.
800%.
800%. And I told you in my little note when I invited you to come on, I said that you were channeling your inner Harry Truman. The buck stops here.
You bet.
And give him hell, Harry. So welcome to the porch.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Now, have you heard anything in the interim? Have they actually snapped to it?
Almost immediately. And as so many things in bureaucracy, there was a gaffe. And I ended up having to, I guess I didn't have to, but I did offer an apology to Mr. Popoff. Mm-hmm. He had, in fact, done exactly what he said he was going to do when we had that orientation session. And I raised this issue, and he said, we really want to review our philosophy on business licenses. We will get on that. And then I heard nothing. And then I had the complaints that I'd heard during the campaign reiterated. And I brought them to the attention of the chair of D&I, Development and Infrastructure. And the whole thing just kind of got bogged down, and the decision from Councillor Mohammed in D&I was, we're not going to do anything about it. It's going to get resolved in the next budget cycle, or we will look at it in the next budget cycle. And I said, not good enough. Not good enough. The day after the meeting, the CAO, our interim CAO, brought a memo to my attention that he had received from Mr. Popoff, doing exactly what he said he was going to do during the orientation, and that was, here's the philosophy on business licenses. How can we adjust that? And I said, the answer is probably in here, and that's what I was anticipating. And why didn't that come to committee and on to council as it should have? I haven't had a satisfactory explanation on that one, but I was told that it went as far as administrative committee, which is basically the mayor and all of the executive team. They meet weekly and make major sort of directional decisions about this needs to go to that committee, this needs my attention, that needs your attention. And that's where it appeared, and that's where it just kind of got punted and stalled. So, yeah, sometimes I guess you just have to give them hell, and bingo, you get a result that could have been available months ago.
But now for the people who had to fork up that extra 800% on their license fee,
what's the solution,
Yeah.
and that remains to be determined. And they're looking at, it'd be another 100% on top of what the increase that they encountered in 2020, I guess it was 2025. They're going to get it again in 2026. But I'm fairly confident the CAO said we can find a solution for this, and we can do it sooner than the fourth quarter. So
Okay. Well, I guess we'll put a bookmark in that and see where it goes.
we will.
I know that you'll be like a dog on a bone. You won't let it go.
I won't.
No. I wanted to talk to you about being on council again for your fifth time, is it?
Fifth term.
Yeah.
Fifth
You were
term.
elected in 1998 in 3 consecutive 3-year terms until 2007,
Yes,
when you wanted to challenge for mayor,
correct.
and you were unsuccessful. And then you came back in 2013, I believe, and got a 4-year term.
Yes,
So you're now working on 13 plus years of experience as a counselor.
I am indeed. I am indeed.
Now, from your perspective, how has it changed from that rookie counselor back in 1998, how city council functions, how city administration functions?
It has really changed. Each council has its own characteristics depending on who gets elected and who's there. Back in 1998, when I was first elected, I was the new kid on the block. I had they were all the alumni of many years and much experience on city council. Ted Grimm was mayor, Ken Sauer, Wayne Craven, George Renner, Kathy Mandeville. I'm going to forget some names here.
Graham Kelly?
Graham Kelly, thank you. It was a learning curve for me, but I learned from some of the best, and it was good. And this council is very different. We function in ultimately the same ways. Mm-hmm. I think we benefit from being open communicators, and this council that I've been elected to is very open about its communication. They want to talk about everything. They want to talk. Sometimes I get a little weary. I'm thinking, we're talking this thing to death. Let's just go into council and debate this and vote and see what happens. But it's a very good council. We like each other, respect each other, have fun together. And in that regard, that's a new experience for me.
Yeah.
The having fun together part.
Yeah. I had written down here to ask you about the different personalities of the councils you've been on. And I guess each one has its own, feeling.
It does. It definitely does. And it depends to some extent on the mayor. It just depends on the personalities. This council, we all got to know each other quite well during the campaign. We would go to campaign events, and sometimes we outnumbered the voters at the event. So we ended up talking to each other. And we got to know each other. We got to understand each other a bit, learn about each other. There was nothing salacious or particularly divisive during the campaign. And once we got elected and into orientation, it became apparent that we liked each other. We enjoyed each other's company. Brian Varga invited us to a Christmas party in his rumpus room in the basement of his house, and that was in November. And we played games and sort of truth or dare. And it was silly, but it was fun, and we let our hair down with each other.
So how do you think that this council is going to do going into the next 3.5 years now?
You're going to see the challenge in the next few months as we begin our budget discussions. And we saw some of them arise when we went to set the tax rate. Some wanted 0. Some were saying we need to follow administration's advice and go to 6.9. we ended up with a compromise, and we're going to see more of that. But I think it's going to be fine because we respect each other. It's not ad hominem. We're not attacking each other. We're debating positions and political platforms. Yeah.
Do you think that this council will continue to be harmonious, or do you think that maybe personalities might eventually start to fracture and maybe become more dysfunctional?
That's always a possibility, and my dander was ruffled that night in May, and I got a bit bristly, not just with administration, but with some of my fellow councillors, and the mayor tried to calm me down, and I wasn't being calmed down.
You weren't going to come down from the cliff, from the ledge.
Not from that ledge. But what I'm seeing is we can get a little hot and bothered. People aren't going to take it personally, even if it starts to edge in that direction. I think we're going to do okay. That possibility is always there, and we'll see where it gets to. We are going to see some strong differences. I think in the next few months, but I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned the budget. That's the big one that I think you're just beginning now to look at for 2027.
They had their first, there's a budget committee. They had their first meeting yesterday. They're kind of doing some preliminary direction setting. Council we've talked this over in closed session and given our perspectives on what we might be prepared to cut, what we are prepared to sacrifice, what we don't want to see sacrificed, how we want to get going on this. But yeah, we're going to be getting into some heavier discussions, and I think there's a general sense that we want to, amongst all of us, we want to tighten the budget, and we think that by and large that can be done without sacrificing a lot of services. We think there's some fat in the fire here.
Okay.
And I think one of the things we feel fairly confident about, or share together, I guess would be the way to put it, is we're a little overemployed.
I've heard that.
We've got just a few too many people on the payroll, and we'd like to see that tighten up and people having to work a little harder and get a little more accomplished in their day than they have been getting accomplished. But and it will vary from department to department. And I think it will be mostly in middle management that we see some redundancies that can be eliminated.
You see a line-by-line review?
We've talked about that. What's the term they used? It's going to elude me now. Budget by priority budgeting. I think that's the term they use. Priority budgeting. Line by line, not so much, but I think we do want to see a shift in the way we approach the budget. We're sitting on some pretty healthy reserves. That's not a bad thing. And we do dip into them because budget is only a plan. Mm-hmm. It's not set in stone. Things go over, things go under. Mm-hmm. Things don't get done that you thought were going to get done. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that. How we use the reserves, of course, every time you take money out of the reserves, you're also taking income from, and we make a pretty good return on our reserves.
From the interest, the investment, yeah.
We did very well last year. It won't necessarily always be that good, but so when you take the money out of reserves, you're also taking it out of income generation. It might be good for the taxpayer in one sense, but it puts pressure on the budget in another way.
I'd be curious to get your take on how, when you started in 1998, there was no social media. Social media today is the court of public opinion, and depending on which way the algorithms go, you're either geniuses or you're dunces. Let's pause for a moment so we can share some exciting news. We're proud to announce that our work here at Bring Back the Porch is getting noticed. From October to the end of January, our videos and reels viewed more than 1 million times. Some of those viewers could be your customers, so sponsoring Bring Back the Porch is a great way to get your message in front of them too. If you'd like to support our work here at Bring Back the Porch, we ask you to go to our website at bringbacktheporch.com and follow the links. Thank you for your support.
I'm of an age, Brian, and so are you, where I don't use social media very much. I have a Facebook page. I even have a Bill Cocks City Councillor Facebook page. I visited it a lot during the campaign, but I haven't been back there very much. I don't use social media, and I ignore it. And my advice to my fellow councillors is that they need to ignore it too. It's a very vocal minority, and they are very opinionated. They have the answers, and they want you to take their advice. And if you don't, you're a goofball and a fool. So I often hear things raised around the council table. Oh, this is going on Facebook. Oh, this, you should be reading your social media. Oh, this, oh, that, X has got something to... And I just go, oh, really? Well, isn't that interesting? I sleep better, I think, than most of them.
It's kind of like, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there, does it still make noise?
Yep, I agree. And so, yeah, it's there. I don't worry about it very much. But I was never one, and maybe that's why I've suffered a couple of defeats in past elections. I was never one to make decisions based on the way the wind was blowing. No, that was never my approach. And I didn't respect politicians who used that approach, and I still don't. Mm-hmm. I listened to the material. I listened to the advice of our administration, the expert consultants that they bring in, and I make my decisions based on what I think is best for the city as a whole. There will be some winners and some losers, but overall, that's the way I make decisions, and I think that's the way they should be made. So I don't pay a lot of attention to social media.
Okay. Social media has been very harsh on the Riverside road plan. People on Facebook have been accusing the administration of already having their minds made up. They're not changing anything. They're not listening to us. As the chair of the committee that I think this falls under, how much are you watching that?
Actually, it doesn't fall under my chairmanship.
It's not under Public Works?
It's under Public Services.
Oh, okay, Public Services.
Public Works falls under Development and Infrastructure. Okay. And the chairman of that is Yusuf Mohammed.
Okay.
And I forget the other committee members. But I live on Riverside. I live on 3rd Street, as a matter of fact, at a busy intersection that intersects with the commercial zone. I love it there. I really like Riverside. I enjoy living in a mixed-use neighborhood. Sometimes people get a bee in their bonnet, and once you take a position, it's hard to back off, back down, or retreat, or compromise. Administration they have made changes to the 3rd Street plan. It is certainly not the Division Avenue plan, which is what brought this whole topic into some disrepute, and properly so. I think this is before my term, of course, there were serious mistakes made in the approach to Division Avenue. Having said that, 3rd Street is not going to be narrowed. They keep saying, why are they narrowing the street? Why are they narrowing the street? They're not going to be narrowing the street. It's going to be the same with. It's going to be made more uniform in terms of the little inches and increments, but it's basically going to be the same conformation. Parking lane on each side of the street and a driving lane, 2 driving lanes. They are going to do some bulb outs. They've got better design on those bulb outs now, so that the turning radius is that you don't have to go so far out into the street. Division Avenue is ridiculous that way, ridiculous. 3rd Street is not going to be that way, and there aren't going to be that many of them. They're trying to make the street look narrower.
That's the optics, yes.
That's the optics they want to create to slow people down, slow traffic down. There is some speeding goes on over there. I think because it's kind of slightly out of sight, out of mind, it's not high enforcement priority. Small neighborhood, 1 street, often not much traffic on it. Somebody goes barreling down there on a motorbike or a car. I would like to see the traffic slowed down, and I think the plan they have in place will do that.
Isn't it funny that a so-called traffic calming got everybody riled up?
That is an interesting juxtaposition. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but there were so many obvious mistakes on Division Avenue, and I can see why people are upset there. I don't know why they didn't plant some lovely trees and make that a tree-lined boulevard if they were going to narrow the street. I'm not sure they needed to narrow the street. I never thought speeding was a big problem on Division Avenue. I think speeding can be a bit of a problem on 3rd Street because it is residential and homes front onto that street. There aren't a few homes that have their side facing the street. The homes front onto that street. They back out of their driveways onto that street. So we need to slow traffic down there. That's the objective. I have some issues with the multi-purpose, what are they calling that? The multi-purpose lane.
For walking and biking.
Walking and biking. I'm not sure we need that. We'll see how the public input plays out on that one. I think bikers, people that want to bike, you commute to work on a bike, whatever, just use 2nd Street. Mm-hmm. It's a very quiet street. Just go down the road. Yeah. You don't need a bike lane where you're going to be competing with pedestrians anyway. I think leave the sidewalk alone.
Okay. One thing that I think in the campaign you were talking about was the need to make sure that council is on, I guess, in sync with the new CAO.
Yes.
We are now, I think, 6 months, 7 months after the election, and we still haven't heard if we have a new CAO.
I know certain things that I can't really reveal at this point. But I think there's going to be an announcement very soon. Very soon. I, for one, council's got along very well. I, for one, said, folks, we're getting along, we're talking, we've, I think, restored to a significant measure the public's confidence in their council and that we are approaching things in the right way. But what have we accomplished? Job 1 was to find a new CAO. Job 2, and I think in that order, was to develop a strategic plan. We haven't released our strategic plan yet either. Mm-hmm. That's not because we haven't been working on it. I think we've taken a little longer, certainly a little longer than I was hoping. I sent an email to my fellow councillors, at least a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago now, saying these 2 jobs need to be taken care of, and I haven't heard much about them in the last little while. I've heard quite a bit in the quite recent term, and you're going to see things presented on both fronts very, very soon.
Put another bookmark on that one.
Okay.
City clerk is also a position that is open.
It is not open anymore.
Oh.
We have hired a city clerk. I don't know I would think it was announced to the public because it was announced to
I
staff.
don't think I saw it, but that doesn't mean it didn't
Yeah,
happen.
I don't know how much fanfare it got. She is not in place yet. That in terms of having moved to Medicine Hat and gotten into her office, but that is anticipated to happen before the end of June.
Okay.
So we have a city clerk.
Southside Recreation Center was a hot topic in the election, and then since then we've heard about urban hens and having a drink in a park, but that one just sort of very quiet.
Again, so that is my committee, Public Services. I did ask our interim managing director, Lee Presteko, to bring that back to committee, like what's going on. We basically put a hold, and that's the last I heard of it. We've looked at that in closed committee and in closed council. There have been other developments. The Cypress County are wanting to put in some ice surfaces in Dunmore. We thought they might partner with us in Medicine Hat. Kind of caught us a little off guard. There are several things there. And as we go into the budget discussion, these will become priorities. It's on the radar screen. It's not lost.
Another thing, too, and I said this in the campaign when everybody was talking about economic development. I said, I think economic development has been an issue in every election campaign in the almost 50 years that I've been covering the city.
Yeah.
So somebody's not doing it right. But you were recently in Glasgow, Scotland, and you related to me what a happening place it is.
Yeah.
And I said to you, well, how do we get that to happen here?
I'm not sure that I have the answer to that specific question. Higher density living does do quite a bit there. I know we all like and I'm included in that. I like my well, I'm not detached anymore. I'm in a townhouse, but we like our yards and so forth. But they've got a significant population base there, and it animates their retail sector, their entertainment and restaurant sector. You better have a reservation if you want to go to a nice restaurant, or be prepared to stand at the door for a while if you're just going into a pub. They're busy. Yeah. We need some more of that. I feel that Medicine Hat is stagnated. I know the economic development officer for the city of Medicine Hat would say, well, no, we're gaining as much as we're losing, and I know people would love to see a big industrial development come to Medicine Hat. I'm not averse to that, but those opportunities are few and far between. We were just at, I was, and the mayor and the chairman of Energy at Clugston. I'm on the Energy Committee, so that's why we were invited to the ribbon cutting at Cancarb. They just commissioned a new solar field. It's going to generate enough electricity to serve their plant. It's going to be for their use only. They've already got a waste heat electric generating thing that's been going for 25 years. 25 years.
Proven.
They've the executive team yesterday all had jackets with 25th anniversary of the waste heat generator. There's a very good case of an industrial corporate presence in Medicine Hat that has been very positive for a very long time. The investment was $7 million. They used a local, it started out locally, and I was told yesterday that HatSmart has really got the firm that put in the electrical installation. I'm forgetting the name of them now. My memory. Anyway, they started in Medicine Hat. Their head office is now in Toronto. We all signed an electric panel, which two of them, we're going to put one. They're going to put one there at the plant, and they're going to take one back to their head office in Toronto, so that they can show to other prospective clients, see, this is what we did in Medicine Hat. Okay. So there are things happening, but overall, it feels sluggish. Yeah. The whole economy, generally, we're just hearing
Technical
a
recession.
technical recession. And I think we sense that here. I'm not sure that Alberta senses it because growth in Calgary is beyond their capacity to keep up with it. Poor Alberta, we're just so hard done by, yet we have the highest incomes, the best infrastructure. We're not doing so bad here. And population increases. We lead the country with people migrating here, both from the world and from other parts of Canada. So Alberta seems to be in a good position, and Medicine Hat is too. We just need to learn how to take better advantage of it.
Well, economic development would make your budget deliberations a whole lot easier.
It would. If we could grow that tax base, it would help a lot.
Bill, thank you for the visit.
Thank you very much. It's great to be opposite the desk with you again.
Yes, old times.
Old times.
Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.